What's up, guys? I woke up this morning and decided that I was going to record this morning. And I was looking around for my headphones for a good 10 to 15 minutes before it dawned on me that, yeah, they were around my neck. As you can tell, this is going to be an excellent video already. A great way to start the morning off. Mwah. Well, let's get to it, guys. Hello, I'm Peter and welcome to another Tekken Beginner's Fundamentals video. In this video, we will explore the topic of rage. That's right, we're gonna look at the rage system in the game. We're gonna look at things such as rage drive, rage art, when to activate rage, how to properly use rage, as well as debunking some myths regarding rage. Now then, if you enjoy learning about Tekken and you look to better yourselves and improve, please consider hitting that sub notification icon below, as well as hitting that bell icon so that you can get the most recent updates that I have. I do release regular content at least once a week, so if you're interested in learning, consider subbing. Thank you, and let's go to this topic right now. Rage! What is rage? The rage mechanism in Tekken can be thought of as a comeback, or rather a revenge mechanism. It allows the losing player, the player with less life more often than not, to deal more damage on all attacks, basically giving the player a damage boost modifier, if you want to think about it that way. Now, rage triggers at exactly 44 health, and believe me, this is the correct number. This is the correct number. Originally, I thought it was 42, but that's because Peter couldn't count before. But now, I know how to count, so we're good. I double and triple checked this with Akuma's Fireball, because each of these fireballs deals 1 damage on block, so I counted every damn fireball. And I counted correctly this time. Remember, I double and triple checked. 44 health, that's when rage activates. Now, there are 3 big key indicators on when a player gains access to rage. The first indicator is that a player gains this red fire around them, rather a red aura, as well as a red outline around their character. Don't be fooled, okay? There is a red cosmetic item in the game that gives you this red fire. However, this red fire doesn't provide a red glow, as you can see in this clip right here. So, this red cosmetic item does not provide a red outline. Second indicator is that a player's health bar will start to pulsate red as soon as a player is in rage. And as long as that player is in rage, that health bar will continue to pulse and glow. And the third and final indicator is this sound effect. Yep, this shoop sound effect that triggers only once as soon as a player hits rage. And this happens once per round per player, if and when they hit rage. Rage art. Now, aside from just gaining a damage boost modifier, when a player gains rage, they also gain access to something called a rage art. It's kind of a unique attack that every character in this game has, and a majority of them, while the animation and the art is different, a lot of them are very similar in terms of their frame data. As a general rule, rage arts will hit mid, take roughly around 20 frames to start up, and are minus 22 frames on block, which is launch punishable, for those of you who didn't know. And the last thing about rage arts, they have a special Power Crush armor. Now remember in the previous Power Crush video where I said that you can interrupt Power Crush attacks with either a low or a grab? Well, Power crushes don't work the same way for rage arts. Rage arts have a very unique property on their power crush. If you try to do a low on somebody who's doing a rage art, they will plow right through that shit, right? And if you try to grab somebody who's doing a rage art, they will completely ignore you and then just duff you in the process. So, rage art, power crush, very different. Now, one last thing I'd like to point out about rage arts is that it's a one and done deal. Okay, upon using a rage art, a player, their rage is expended, meaning that the player no longer has rage, and any damage modifiers and boosts they get from rage is also gone with it. So, rage arts, if you use it, whether it gets blocked or it hits, it's gone afterwards. Alright, before we move away from the topic of rage arts altogether, I wanted to point out some notable, unique rage arts in the game. Yes, there are some characters that have rather unique rage arts in the game, and I wanted to point them out so that you don't get caught off guard and just get completely demolished. So here is a quick list of them, and I'm going to go through them as thoroughly as I possibly can, but if I miss anything regarding them, please let me know in the comments below. So, first off, Akuma. His rage art is an unblockable mid grab that reaches roughly around, I don't know, 60% of the screen, something like that. The universal way to avoid this is with a jump back 4, or any jump back attack for that matter. You have to jump back, and I think you can avoid this with a neutral jump as well, but yeah, that's the general universal way. However, you can also sidewalk left this if you have already started a sidewalk left. But you cannot sidewalk right this, as for whatever reason, Akuma has very good tracking to his right side when doing his Raging Demon rage art. Elisa. Now, her rage art is a fast, high attacking chainsaw multiple hitting attack. It comes out at 13 frames, which is the fastest speed that a rage art can come out in, and a couple of characters will be tied for this 13 frame startup window. On block, this is not punishable at all. In fact, it actually leaves her at +1 frame. And when you see the rage art, the proper way to counter this is to duck and while standing punish her moderately fast. And when I say moderately fast, it's because if you're too slow, the window of opportunity to punish this will be over. She'll be able to block and you'll miss your while standing punish opportunity. On the flip side though, if you stand up too quickly to while standing punish her, you will get nailed by one of the hits, because her chainsaw attacks, it's a multiple hitting attack. If you stand up too quickly to while standing punish her, you're gonna get nailed by one of them, and then the whole rage art will play out. You will have to practice this a bit if you want to get the correct timing down. So I suggest at least trying to punish this a couple of times in practice mode before taking it out in a real match. Anna. Like Elisa, Anna has a fast, high attacking rage art as well. Hers starts up in 13 frames just like Elisa and is safe on block. However, unlike Elisa, Anna is at -9. So when you see the rage art start, just go ahead and crouch and while standing punish. While Anna is at -9, sometimes it's not the best idea to rush in because there is quite a bit of pushback on it and you could get counter hit on the way in. Geese. So yet again, we have another high attacking rage art. Geese's is a bit unique because it is a high unblockable throw. The best way to avoid this is to duck when you see the rage art happen, and while standing punish accordingly. Gigas. Oh boy. Yeah, Gigas doesn't have anything particularly special about his rage art, but I wanted to include this as it is probably the worst rage art on block in the game. On block, it comes in at a whopping -42 frames. Yeah, you should not miss your punish on this, as you have all day to make a coffee, a sandwich, come back, and still launch this. So don't miss your punish on this. Horang. So Horang is a very special case when it comes to rage arts because, first of all, his rage art hits mid and is safe on block. Most of the rage arts that we've seen that hit mid are not safe on block. On block, Horang is at -7, so we can't guarantee any kind of pressure, and it gives pretty decent pushback. But if you're thinking, oh boy, he's -7, it's my turn now. No, just be careful about after he lands this, don't rush in head first because you'll get hit by this green rank special right here. Firecracker, green rank special, right here. If the first attack, the low, is a counter hit, the second hit, which is a launcher, is guaranteed. So don't rush in headfirst after blocking this. Just try to re-establish neutral. Jack 7. Jack 7 is quite a bit of a unique case for rage arts as well. While his rage art does start up at a standard 20 frames, on block it is -32. So you might actually be thinking, wow, -32, this is probably why Peter is pointing this out. No, this is not why I'm pointing it out. I'm pointing this out because on pushback, Jack has quite a good amount of pushback on his rage art. While up close, a lot of the launchers that you'll throw out will connect. At a further range, if this rage art does connect, your standard launcher will miss. So you will have to lab different options for the longer distances, or just use the longer distances to punish the shorter distances, whichever. Just make sure to lab when Jack hits this at a further range. Jin. This guy's rage art is a 13 frame high as well, and it is safe on block. The frame data on his rage art is almost identical. In fact, it is identical to that of Anna's. On block, Jin is safe at a severe -9. However, if you do block this, do not rush in towards Jin, because don't forget, even though it's season 3, you're gonna run into forward 4, alright, on counter hit. Because even if you try to run in with a jab, forward 4 will snuff you out before yours does. So the best way to counter this is, like everything else that's high, duck it and while standing punish. Lucky Chloe. Alright, this little pop star is the only low rage art in the game, and it comes out at a standard 20 frames, but is -27 frames on block. However, you cannot do a standard low block into a while standing launcher. I've used Brian here as an example. You'll see that Brian's while standing 1 on block, it does not launch her because she's considered airborne during this state. Likewise, Brian's while standing 2, his Fisherman Slam, also doesn't work on this. It does a weird flip. So you'll have to use an option normally that will pick your opponent up that's airborne. So in this case, Brian has while standing 3. He also has access to while standing 4. Now, if you're ever unsure about how to properly pick her up, start with a while standing 4. This will pick her up. And if your character has a full crouch launch as well, or a full crouch bound move or screw move, try to use that. But aside from that, you'll need to look for a while standing move that picks up airborne opponents and try to convert some sort of combo from there. Noctis. Alright, there's not too much noteworthy here for this misfit, except for the fact that his rage art recovers fairly slowly at -32, which is below average. But I want to point out something regarding the range of this rage art. You see this range right here? This range? Yeah. He has a lot of range on his rage art, so don't be whiffing attacks just because you think he can't punish you for it. His rage art has incredible range. Last but not least, we have Steve. Ah yes, Steve has a 13 frame high rage art as well. The only punish here, again like all the other highs, is to duck and while standing launch Steve. However, if you don't manage to get the duck and you do block this, please do not rush in towards Steve. Steve is only at -3 on block with this, and with the pushback, what you're basically looking at is running into a back one. Yes, if you block this and you try to rush Steve, Steve is almost guaranteed to get a back one on you. So just duck and while standing punish. Rage Drive. So the other attack that is available to almost every character in the game, is called a Rage Drive. The 3 characters that do not have a Rage Drive are Akuma, Eliza, and Geese. Now, Rage Drives can be easily denoted by the blue flash right before an attack, as well as the blue aura that envelops a character during the attack. Like Rage Art, Rage Drives are unique attacks that uses up one's rage to dish out a unique attack. Well, almost a unique attack. Most Rage Drives in this game are basically supercharged up versions of an existing attack in the game. For example, if you look at Paul's Rage Drive, it's a supercharged version of his Phoenix Smasher, quarter circle forward 2. Fane's Rage Drive is a overpowered version of his Iron Mountain, back 1+2. Brian's Rage Drive is a super buffed up version of his Chopping Elbow, his back 1. And Dragonov's Rage Drive is a super powered up version of his Russian Assault, his Wall Running 2. And you get the idea. More or less, you've seen the attack, it's just a supercharged up version of it. However, unlike Rage Art, Rage Drives are different in a number of ways. First and foremost, Rage Drives do not have armor, so they can be interrupted by almost anything. If you can think about it, you can interrupt it. This includes things like pokes. You can poke somebody out of a Rage Drive. You can throw anybody out of a Rage Drive, or whatever really. I mean, hell, you can even stop a Rage Drive with a Power Crush. 2. Unlike Rage Art, Rage Drives have a huge variance, a huge variance on their startup frames and what they are on block. However, it should be noted that Rage Drives often start up much faster than Rage Arts, but not always the case. Most of the time, Rage Drives will start up faster than Rage Arts. And the third thing, unlike Rage Arts, Rage Drives generally are very plus on block. Rage Drives usually come out in one of 2 types. Either 1, they leave the opponent very close to the user to allow some sort of mix-up on block, or 2, they push the opponent really far away, in which case it resets the neutral. As a general rule, when you block a Rage Drive, don't be pressing buttons, as pressing buttons after blocking a Rage Drive is a great way to get counter hits. And one common thing that Rage Drive and Rage Arts share is that a majority, something like, I think last time I counted was like 75% of Rage Drives are mid-attacking. So as a general tip to avoid getting nailed by Rage Drives, if you don't know the character's Rage Drives, is don't be ducking too much. Do not be trying to duck a lot of these Rage Drives, because most of them are mid. But of course, there's going to be about a dozen or so that break the rule, so don't take it as gospel either. Effective rage use. So between the damage buff that we get from Rage, the options to use Rage Art, as well as access to Rage Drives, the likely question that a lot of new players ask is, when should I use my Rage and how should I use it? Since after all, I want you to think of Rage as essentially a resource in the game that should not be wasted. It's a finite resource that should not be wasted. And we'll talk about a couple of different scenarios on how to best use Rage. First and foremost, let's take a look at Rage Art. Since Rage Art in the game is extremely punishable, it is considered a very high risk, high reward attack. As such, it should never be thrown out as a panic move simply because you're low on life. However, since it does have super armor, allowing it to absorb all types of attacks, one particularly good place to use it is to absorb attacks when getting an aggressive read. If the opponent is literally just pressing buttons, pressuring without letting up and having a complete disregard for the fact that we are in rage and have access to rage art, then this is a great place to use it. Just make sure to be unpredictable with this, as a good player will snuff you out for this and scout it out. The second and final place to use Rage Art is to use it as a easy high damage combo ender. If you are afraid you might drop a combo for whatever reason, feel free to use this as a means to close out a round after doing one of your combos as a finisher, if you will. It should be noted that this option should only be used if you are sure that it will kill the opponent, as pushing your opponent into rage and not killing them while spending your own rage could be a death sentence. So if you are going to use this as a easy combo ender, then make sure that it does kill. Rage Drive. Okay, alright. Because Rage Drives tend to start up fairly quickly and are generally very plus on block, they can be seen as a low risk, high reward option compared to Rage Arts. Having said that, basically what this means is essentially there is a lot of different ways to use Rage Drives, and I'm going to go over two of the circumstances here. First and foremost, let's talk about damage. If you're looking to equalize the health differential between yourself and the opponent, or even potentially taking a round off of them, more often than not, you'll find that most Rage Drives in the game are quite good at this. They are either really good as a combo starter and let you mount up lots of damage after landing a Rage Drive, or they're great at being a combo ender, meaning that after you get a launch and you do your filler and your screw, you can end a combo with a Rage Drive, allowing you to tack on some more much needed damage. But just make sure that when you do your combo, that you do the most consistent combo for you, and that the combo will at least pull you even in terms of health, or allow you to have enough of a momentum to carry on a comeback. Second, this is setting up pressure. All right, when we're talking about Rage Drives, usually on block, they are quite advantageous for us, so we can use it as a way to continue our pressure. In low life scramble situations, sometimes all you need is just another attack to close out the round, or just another little hit to close out a round. And in order to do that, you'll need some more plus frames. So to do that, Rage Drives are particularly good at this because they provide you with the plus frames to allow you to do the mix-up on the opponent. And Rage Drives is just another tool for that. So saving your Rage Drive for this purpose can be vital in winning games that would otherwise be rather difficult to win. Rage myths. Alright, there is a lot of different myths floating around the internet about rage, and I wanted to take the time to at least debunk 3 of these myths, as a lot of them you'll find them in either forums or you'll find it in the different discords, but I didn't see any proof on people debunking them, so I wanted to take the time to do that. Alright, first myth. Players in Rage deal 10% more damage. This one is partially true. It is possible for a player in Rage to deal 10% damage, but at the same time, this number is not set in stone. And we'll take a couple of looks at this because there are things that I want to point out. First, we'll look at the good old snackage combo, bread and butter combo. As a control group, we'll have Brian do his bread and butter combo with no rage. And again, these are normal attacks, and this is how much damage he does. And here we have Brian doing a bread and butter combo when having exactly 44 health, just when he hits rage. And again, I shaved this off to exactly 44 health with the help of Akuma's fireballs on block. So this is how much damage the combo does. And here I have Brian doing a bread and butter combo when having exactly just 1 health. And yes, if you're ever wondering what 1 health looks like, this is exactly what it looks like. So yeah, this is how much damage his bread and butter combo does. So we have 3 exactly the same combos at 3 different levels of health. And let's take a still image of the bread and butter combo damage with no rage. Then a still of the bread and butter with 44 health. And then a still of the bread and butter with 1 health. Add some lines to help visualize, and bam, here we go. As it is quite obvious, there are 2 conclusions to draw here. First, rage obviously gives us a damage boost in terms of just regular hit damage. And second, regardless of how low our health is, or how much rage, I guess, how low our health is, our generic attacks, our generic damage does not change. So we have the same amount of damage output at 1 health as we do at 44 health. Now let's look at another example, this time at rage drives, in terms of damage boost from rage. First we'll look at when we just hit rage at 44 health. And basically we're going to do the same combo, but this time instead of our standard injure, we're going to finish with a rage drive spike combo. And this is how much damage we do. Now look at the same scenario, but this time at 1 health. Same combo, nothing changes, just health. And here we have it. This is the damage. Let's again still frame this and compare. First, we have the damage from the Rage Drive combo at 44 health. And here we have the Rage Drive combo at 1 health. As you can see, the Rage Drive is not affected by how low our health is. Okay. Last example, this time Rage Art. Again, our first scenario we're going to look at is when we have 44 health. Essentially, we're going to repeat the same previous combo, but this time instead of Rage Drive, we're going to head and use our Rage Art. After the animation plays out, here is our damage. Now, you know how it goes. We're going to take a look at the 1 health scenario. Same combo as before, as seen a million times. Since we're going to try to keep everything nice and consistent, and yep, here is our damage. Still frame that shit and let's compare. First, we had the damage from the Rage Art at 44 health. Now let's look at the damage from Rage Art at 1 health. You know what? Here it is. What do you know? This is a significant difference in terms of damage. As you can see from all the examples we looked at, Rage Art is the only attack that is variable with how low our health is. Meaning that when we are at 1% health, our Rage Art does significantly more damage than it would otherwise at, say, something like 44 health. So yes, back to the myth. It is true that we roughly deal 10% more damage while we are in Rage. However, we can deal more than 10% damage with our Rage Art, as Rage Art damage is inversely proportional to how much actual health we have. The less health we have, the more damage our Rage Art does. Second myth, a player can acquire Rage more than twice. So there is a weird myth that if a player acquires Rage and then spends the Rage, that they can somehow acquire Rage again if they're able to, say, heal themselves up above the Rage threshold, the 44 health, and then dip their health back down underneath that threshold, that they can acquire Rage again. So in order to test this, I've gone ahead and tried it out with Lei. We're gonna have Lei get hit repeatedly over and over and over again until he gets Rage. And then once he gets Rage, we're gonna have him waste his Rage, and then we're gonna have him heal back up past the 44 health with his drunken 1+2, aka his drink. And then we're gonna see if he can acquire rage again by getting hit underneath the 44 health threshold. And nope. From the testing, you can see that you cannot acquire rage again. So there you have it. If you spend your rage, that's all you get. You cannot get any more rage after you've already spent your rage and gotten it once per round. So rage is a once per round thing. Can't gain it twice. And the last myth that we're gonna take a look at, it's also kind of a weird one, is that if players gain rage and they go above the 44 health threshold, they're going to lose their rage. Yeah, this is another weird one because people think that for whatever reason, if you go above the 44 health threshold and you are in rage, you will lose your rage. And again, we're gonna go ahead and test this. We're gonna have Yoshimitsu get hit over and over and over until to the point he gets rage. And then once Yoshimitsu acquires rage, we're gonna go and have him heal back up and see if he loses rage. And what do you know? Yeah, Yoshimitsu is continuing to heal and he is way past the threshold in which you normally acquire rage, and he is still glowing red, meaning he still has rage. So again, this myth is busted. So yeah, this is not true. Once you get rage, you will continue to have rage until either you spend it on rage art, rage drive, or I guess until you die. Well, that about wraps it up for everything I feel like I wanted to cover about rage and the rage mechanics in the game. If you've enjoyed this learning content and if you want to continue to learn more about Tekken, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell below. I do regular updates. And at this point in time, I would like to give two huge shout outs. First of all, thank you for the patrons. You guys are really what have allowed me to grow the channel. All the new equipment that I have are thanks to you. The lighting, the microphone, the new layouts, the graphics, everything is thanks to you guys. As well, our new editor is being sponsored basically by you patrons. Thank you guys so much. And thank you Crossroads for doing the editing for this video. This has been a big project of mine, and thank you for helping me out. If you guys have enjoyed Crossroads' editing and you feel like it's up to snuff, give them a great shout out below in the comments. And till next time, I'm Peter, and I'm signing out. Take care, guys. Peace out.